Good morning, everyone. My name is Christy O'Brien, and today we'll be discussing effective management and how to achieve it. We will be focusing on the different functions of management as well as 3 primary management styles. So let's get started. Boundless.com's Defining Management, written in 2016, details the 5 major functions of management. The first major function is planning. Establishing what you want to do in the future. What goals are we setting for Spokes of Hope? Here you make plans to set your wheels in motion. Once you have a plan in place, Boundless.com recommends you focus on organization, putting a pattern in place for the employees and assigning them tasks based on their skill set. Utilizing your available resources will help to successfully execute the plan that you set in motion. Staffing is another major function of effective management. Hire people with the necessary skills for the specific job you are looking to fill and provide thorough training. Once you have trained staff, be sure to continue training, whether it be to learn new skills or business decisions, but also to offer refresher training for continued success. The fourth function of management discussed in Boundless.com's chapter is leading. Here, it is important to establish what is needed to be done, and then leading and directing people to do it. Lastly, another important function of management is controlling. Here, you analyze your present results and compare them to your projected plans. Are any adjustments needed to achieve the end goal? If so, establish and implement a plan to make the necessary adjustments that will result in achieving the set goals. Now that we have an understanding of 5 major functions of management, let's walk through an example of each of these functions. When making a plan, let's set goals that coincide with Spokes of Hope's mission and future goals. For example, let's develop a plan to increase the amount of bicycles Spokes of Hope worldwide will donate to students in need by 10% this year. To achieve the goal set forth in the plan, it'll be imperative that we focus on organizing. I will be assigning out separate tasks to the appropriate departments that will be instrumental in achieving these goals. For example, I plan to have the department that communicates with the public in need determine where the bicycles will be needed most. So we can utilize the resources we have available. I will also need a list of what's in stock from the department that records inventory and what parts will be needed to complete restoration of bicycles already in our inventory. Our Public Relations Department will be tasked with helping to procure through donations any additional bicycles needed. The Restoration and Refurbishing Department will be tasked with making the necessary repairs. Everyone applying their skills will help achieve the goal of 10% more much-needed bicycles on the streets this year. Hiring a qualified mechanic would be an example of staffing. Spokes of Hope could benefit from having another qualified mechanic to keep up with the increase in demand. To grow and prosper, it is important that we have ample staff to meet our growing needs and future goals. Additionally, we should consider a yearly refresher training for Spokes of Hope employees. In this case, achieving our goal will be more easily attainable if, as a leader, I delegate authority and tasks to the managers. Using their skills, they will allocate the tasks to the appropriate member of their team. Each manager will coordinate with their team and report back to senior management periodically. To ensure we are on target to meet our 10% goal by the end of the first year, we will use the controlling function. For example, at the end of the second quarter, management and senior management will collaborate and evaluate what has been accomplished in the first half of the year. If we are not on course to meet the plan by the end of the year, we will discuss which actions require modifications or adjustments. We will consider the functions previously mentioned, staffing issues, inventory issues, time constraints, etc. In 2013, Lori Fryfield published an article, 3 Primary Management Styles, When and How to Employ Each of These Styles, Directing, Discussing, and Delegating, to maximize your effectiveness, and discusses 3 different management styles. This article is a good resource to learn about the directing, discussing, and delegating management styles. The remainder of this presentation will focus on the 3 styles discussed in the article. The directing management style incorporates precise, detailed direction of expectations in what's required to get it done. The strength of this style is usually there are favorable end results. The finished assignment is satisfactory because the instructions were detailed and clear. Also, work is often reviewed and suggestions and recommendations are often implemented into the final product. One weakness I can see in this style is there is little room for outside-the-box thinking. This style does not encourage employees to collaborate or critically think on their own about the work that is being done. An example of this management style could be an assignment where the employee would need to respond to an important email. Let's say someone is interested in partnering with Spokes of Hope and emails asking for more information about the organization. They have some questions they need answered. As a manager, you may direct your public relations employee to draft a detailed response. You instruct the employee where to find the answers sought in the email and maybe even provide some example language. The employee drafts up the language for the reply email, and then the manager reviews it and makes recommendations before the final email is sent. Freyfield also details the discussing management style. This style allows for more interaction than the directing management style. Here, employees learn by interacting with their managers and sometimes other employees. A lot of questions are asked of the employees to encourage critical thinking. Often the managers will have several questions prepared ahead of time. There is discussion about what problems there are and ways to solve them. This style can be valuable because with practice, employees will learn to problem solve more independently. They are able to come to a logical decision on their own and will feel more confident in their work. While it is a strength to have independent critical thinkers, it can take some time. This style may require more time and patience. Critical thinking and independent problem solving does not happen overnight, and for that may be considered a weakness depending on time constraints. Using the email example from before, here the style would be different. Rather than telling the employee what to do, you're going to ask them lots of questions and see what course of action they would take on their own. Perhaps you don't tell them to send an email or what its contents should contain or where they can find the information. Maybe you just tell them there are potential investors with questions about Spokes of Hope. Ask them what method of communication should be used to get the information across to the investors. Maybe you ask what's the best way to get the word out of Spokes of Hope and what information would be best to share. Finally, Freyfield illustrates that the delegating management style doesn't offer as much discussion as the previous style does. Here, employees learn by doing. The employee is usually assigned a task with established deadline. Follow-up questions are generally asked if there is confusion. The strength of this style is the comfort of knowing you will have confident project results with accurate information. Employees feel empowered because they have learned to problem solve more independently. They are able and comfortable coming to logical decisions on their own and will feel more confident in their work. The employee can analyze their own work and their performance. The potential weakness for this style is there may be more risk. With less oversight, there may be potential errors or undesired results within the style. Sticking with the example of questions from potential investors, rather directing on how to generate and research the contents of the reply email or collaborating on how to address the potential investors' needs, here I would simply just forward the email to the appropriate employee and trust that they will have the resources and knowledge to handle the needs of the potential investor on their own. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this presentation. I'd be glad to address any questions you may have. Thanks for your time.